Okay, so I want to show you the ways to get off that hamster wheel. And the number one recognition you can have is that when we are going through an expansion, an awakening, or whatever it is you want to call it, a level up, we tend to seek consistently. That's like the number one thing that happened to a lot of people I know. And so to avoid that seek, seek, seek and never find, let's get to the ways that you can experience your expansion without spinning your wheel. So the ways that we're going to uncover how to stop seeking and go within, that's really what's happening. And I'll try to put in different quotes to really, kind of solidify what it is I'm trying to talk about, because every spiritual teacher will get to this point. And so you can tell when somebody is just doing a projection of healing, because a lot of times when we first awaken, we're like, ooh, I've been asleep and I see so much more and let me save the world. You'll always know if it's somebody that is just trying to save the world rather than going within and saving themselves, because that has to happen first. You can't give others healing if you don't have it for yourself. And you'll know that by the consistent deflecting of their own stuff and their own life challenges, and really just perpetuating healing for others when they haven't done the work for themselves. And they'll do this because by showing you, let's seek, seek, seek. Oh, you should go to this healer, you should do this modality, you should this, and I have a friend that does that, and let me coach you in mindset and blah. That's the hamster wheel right there. And we all hit that phase. But what ends up happening is you finally, after seeking so much and not feeling better, you start to go within. And then what happens when you go within is that you realize, like, I have to empty myself. Because when you go within and you really get into that inner kingdom and that feeling of peace and joy, you start to realize that all of the conditions of your mind are keeping you from it. And so it's like we fill ourselves up with more information trying to figure it out. But I think that's a part of it, because the fuller we get, the more we're more unhappy. And so then we finally say, oh, there's the peace, there's the stillness. And we're like on our knees begging for guidance. And then we get it and we're like, oh my gosh, I gotta let go of all of this, all the concepts, all the things I just filled myself with. I gotta let it all go. And so the true teachers that are trying to lead you within, period, that's the only way, because you will know everything when you get into your inner kingdom and you're emptied of all the concepts that keep you from it. The true teachers are all the same, Buddha, Krishna, Jesus, a lot, Moses, Job. We could go so on. Yeah, I do lean towards the Christian because that is my culture. And so I wanted to understand, because that's really what it's about. Like, all the things we learned and all the concepts we gained can help us to understand the real meaning of it. So because culturally I had Christian theology, I could look at the Christian prophets and see from a empty vessel what they were saying, meaning I didn't have any preconceived notions. I didn't fill myself with knowledge where I was projecting what I had been culturally indoctrinated to believe. I actually emptied myself and I could hear the words, those who have ears hear and eyes see. And so the real healers, so to speak, which we don't need healing, we just gotta unload all the things and get to the core essence in tune with our higher self, let her embody our higher self, which is higher consciousness, and all of that shifts. So the seeking, again, goes along with what I was just saying. Like, we tend to go down the path that's actually going to free us, because we hit rock bottom on that path, and through that we find the light. So in being taught about Christian figures saying things that were kind of a false positive, in following that and never really finding the kingdom within ourselves, will actually spark that recognition. So there's The darkness always leads us to the light. And so the same thing with seeking and never finding. We go through the awakening, and I think it's programmed into us or given to us from our higher self, or however you want to look at it, to just keep seeking, because that's what we've always been taught to do. You know, it's showing us that externally we think we're finding knowledge, but the true wisdom is in here. And that's so hard to understand. And I used to get so triggered when people would say that to me in the beginning of my awakening. So if you're one of those, please just bear with me here, because that's why I'm bringing this up, so we can get to some real crucial things to help you shift a little bit so that you can get on your journey with it. Okay, so we got that part down. And so what happens as we seek, and it could take you 5 months, it could take you 5 years, it could take you 5 decades, but eventually you'll surrender and say, I've learned everything. It's almost like that with everything. Again, I got to go back to that. I achieved everything I thought would make me happy in this reality. I had the money, I had the title, I had the family, I had the marriage, I had everything. And I was like, oh no, now what? Because I still don't feel good. And so with all this knowledge, you're going to hit that same thing. You're like, oh man, it's still not working. It's not helping me. I'm still all jacked up inside. And so that's the key. Like I said, everything that we spiral down into tends to hit some sort of precipice, some sort of rock bottom, that we finally say, oh, wait a minute. I've tried this all the way to exhaustion and it's not working. And so I use the seek, 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 and never find, because that's what Jesus said. Y'all keep seeking. You're not finding it out there. The kingdom is in here. And the reason that we don't feel it or know it is because all of our focus and attention's went out there. And then what we've done is we've filled our mind with so many mental concepts. And so everything we're looking at, we've already got a concept that we match it with. So it's important to empty ourselves of the concepts, which is the opposite of seeking. That's why I'm going to put these, like I've been putting these quotes in here, so you can understand all spiritual teachers are telling you the same thing in different varying ways, because I'm trying to get it to try to jive with you to understand what going within is. And going within is really, at the rudimentary understanding, is just we feel so good because we're not looking at the world to determine anything. We just look at it as perfect. The dark intertwines with the light, because through our own darkness of seeking or chasing money or staying in a bad relationship, or, I mean, we could talk about the real ugly dark things, but who wants to trigger us into that? We learn to overcome the darkness. And so it's the yin and the yang. We need the shadows so that the light has contrast. We learn through contrast. So the seeking, again, for our expansion is part of that. And then when you hit rock bottom with that, you're like, I know every single thing. And most of us do that. You'll see a lot of the teachers on YouTube, myself included. I've read 400 books. I understand everything. Kabbalah. I understand Joseph Smith. I understand Krishna, the Law of One. Metaphysics I went to the University of Sonoma and I studied metaphysics and got the degree, and I've done it all. Reiki, energy healing, quantum energy healing, it's just crystalline healing, blue ray soul groups. I mean, everything, y'all. And I'm just on a tangent now because I may come across that I didn't do those things, and that's not what I'm saying. I did. I did. But what I finally realized is I've got to empty myself now, because now I've got a new religion in my head. And I was still doing, and this is another way you'll see an unhealed teacher. If somebody says to you, the unawakened sheep, or a flash of light's going to come and save us and put us on a new planet, any of these things that are looking outside, my favorite quote for this, and I'll try to put that up, is, instead of imagining figures of light coming to save you, look inside yourself. And it's really this, and I probably got the quote wrong, so I'll put it up, but it's really about nobody's coming to save you. No flash of light is coming to save you. There's no new earth that we're going to go to. There's no spaceships that are coming to get you. None of that. Everything is a projection of you. And so it's crucial that you go within and you get your own shadow uncovered and bring the light inside of you. There's nothing out there, even learning. And I know it's hard, y'all. I get it. It is the unraveling of our ego and of our concepts and of our judgments, our discernments, as they call it in New Age. We're no longer in judgment, we're in discernment. So it's really those things that we're looking out in the world, and rather than being just pure empty awareness and enjoying the interplay of light and dark. And I'm not telling you to enjoy bad things. I'm saying be at peace with them and move your attention somewhere else. That is the key. And people think, well, then the whole world's just going to go to crap. No, because through me instigating light in myself and then passing that on to the next and the next, we all become light and we are one. So if we tip those scales, that is the only way to stop shadow aspects being projected out collectively, and these things exist. As I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil. Jesus is the best metaphysics teacher, guys, really. Truly, Einstein right there with him. And I say that a lot, but it's true. I mean, so let's stop seeking and let's start doing the internal work. And so what I'm talking about is shadow work. What I'm talking about is self-awareness, self-realization, anything you can. I'm not saying don't do the new agey stuff of Reiki and quantum healing and all those things, but those are temporary band-aids, just like the rest of the outer world. If they can help you feel better so that you can start doing the inner work, go for it. But nothing, absolutely nothing, is going to heal you but your own consciousness becoming self-realized. So try to stop seeking. Get into those other things. Meditation, even just creativity is a form of meditation. Sports are a form. Just try to get still inside yourself. And before you know it, you are the light. Nothing out there triggers you anymore. And then you move up and you get your expansion. You get your enlightenment. You get that. And I'm back. And you're walking on water, which apparently Osmo, he's my vlogging stick. He's not walking on water right now. But yeah, so if there is a story you'd like to share about how it finally clicked to you that nothing out there, no healing, no teaching, no guru, no energy healer was really saving you, and you found that way to flip and go within and really start doing the inner work and feeling better. I remember the moment that happened for me. Share that. Let's get this going. Let's get everybody realizing, seeking out there and doing all this new agey stuff. It's just a new religion, still keeping us from the inner kingdom. So please share, comment, like, subscribe. And until next time, take care.